Jai Vishnu Pad Paramam Sapakam Sarashat Srimati Divine Grace of Vaishnav Vinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Pad Paramam Sapakacharya Satarashat Srimati Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Shri Guru Parampara Ki Shri Rup Shri Sanatan Shri Bhadranath Shri Kapalabhata Dasa Raghunath Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavana Ki Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Ji Advaita Gadadhar Shri Bhadad Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Radha Krishna Gopal Nath Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Gai Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Ki Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Ganga Yamuna Maya Ki Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki Shri Shri Gaunitai Ki Shri Gaura Premanande all those they are similar devotees, all those they are similar devotees, all those they are similar devotees, all those to Shri Radha, Shri Ranga, all those to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Putri Shrimati Bhakti Charishanti Namo. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Putri Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nirvisa Singhavati Paskachaya Satarane Srila Prabhupada Ki. Bhakta Samal Prabhu, you can put the text on the screen maybe. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
We are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 9, Text 28. Evam Sura Suragana Samadesakala.
Evam Sura Suragana Samadesakala.
Et Vakta Karamamatayo Pifale Vikalpa.
Et Vakta Karamamatayo Pifale Vikalpa.
Tatram Ritam Suragana Phalamakya Sapu.
Tatramritam Suragana Phalamakya Sapu.
Yat Pada Pankacharaja Shrayanam Nadetya.
Yat Pada Pankacharaja Shrayanam Nadetya.
Evam Sura Suraganam Samadesikala.
Evam Sura Suragana Samadesakala.
Et Vakta Karamamatayo Pifale Vikalpa.
Et Vakta Karamamatayo Pifale Vikalpa.
Tatram Ritam Suragana Phalamam Yasapu.
Tatramritam Suragana Phalamam Yasapu.
Yat Pada Pankacharaja Shrayanam Nadetya. Yat
Pada Pankacharaja Shrayanam Nadetya.
Evam Sura Suragana Samadesikala.
Evam Sura Suragana Samadesakala.
Et Vakta Karamamatayo Pifale Vikalpa.
Et Vakta Karamamatayo Pifale Vikalpa.
Tatram Ritam Suragana Phalamam Yasapu.
Tatramritam Suragana Phalamam Yasapu.
Yat Pada Pankacharaja Shrayanam Nadetya.
Yat Pada Pankacharaja Shrayanam Nadetya.
Evam Sura Suragana Samadesakala.
Evam Sura Suragana Samadesakala. Et Vakta Karamamatayo Pifale Vikalpa. Tatramritam Suragana Phalamam Yasapu. Yatpada Pankajaraja Sayanam Nadaitya Evam Sura Suragana Samade Evam Sura Suragana Samade Yopi Kale Vikal Tatram Pitam Suragana Panapur Atpada Pankajaraja Sayanam Nadaitya
Yatpada Pankajaraja Sayanam Nadaitya.
Okay. Mataji, please.
You want? That was they're a bit far, Guru Maharaj. I don't see there.
Good. Then word for word translation. Evam,
Evam
thus, Sura,
Sura,
the demigods,
the demigods,
Asuragana,
Asuragana,
and the demons,
the demons,
Sama,
Sama,
equal,
equal,
Desha,
Desha,
place,
place,
Kala,
Kala,
time,
time,
Hetu,
Hetu,
cause,
cause,
Artha,
Artha,
objective,
objective,
Karma,
Karma,
activities,
activities,
Mataya,
Mataya,
ambition,
ambition,
Api,
Happy,
although one,
although one,
Phale,
Ale,
in the result,
in the result,
Vikalpa,
Vikalpa,
not equal,
not equal,
Tatra,
Tatra,
thereupon,
thereupon,
Amritam,
Amitam,
nectar,
nectar,
Suragana,
Suragana,
demigods,
demigods,
Phalam,
Param,
the result,
the result,
Anyasa,
Anyasa,
easily, totally, or directly,
easily, totally, or directly,
Apo,
Apu,
achieved,
achieved,
Yat,
yeah,
because of,
because of
Padapankaja,
Padapankaja,
of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
Raja,
Raja,
of the saffron,
the sap,
of the saffron dust,
of the saffron dust,
Shayanat,
Shayanat,
because of receiving benedictions or taking shelter,
because of seeing benedictions or taking shelter,
Na,
Na,
not,
not,
Daitya,
Daitya,
the demons. Translation and purport by Abhaichar Navinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. The place, the time, the cause, the purpose, the activity and ambition were all the same for both the demigods and the demons. But the demigods achieved one result and the demons another. Because the demons are always under the shelter of the dust of the Lord's lotus feet, they could very easily drink the nectar and get its result. The demons, however, not having sought shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, were unable to achieve the result they desired. Now we have the purport by Srila Prabhupada. In Bhagavad Gita 4.11, it is said, Yeyata mam papachante tamstataiva bhajamyam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is a supreme judge who rewards or punishes different persons according to their surrender unto his lotus feet. Therefore, it can actually seen that although karmis and bhaktas may work in the same place at the same time with the same energy and with the same ambition, they achieve different results. The karmis transmigrate through different bodies in the cycle of birth and death, sometimes going upwards and sometimes downward, thus suffering the result of their actions in the karma chakra, the cycle of birth and death. The devotees, however, because of fully surrendering at the lotus feet of the Lord, are never baffled in their attempts. Although externally they work almost like the karmis, the devotees go back home, back to Godhead, and achieve a success in every effort. The demons or atheists have faith in their own endeavor, but although they work very hard day and night, they cannot get any more than their destiny. Devotees, however, can surpass the reactions of karma and achieve wonderful results even without effort. It is also said, Phalena Parishyate. One's success or defeat in any activity is understood by its results. There are many karmis in the dress of devotees, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead can detect their purpose. The karmis want to use the property of the Lord for their selfish sense gratification, but the devotee endeavors to use the Lord's property for God's service. Therefore, a devotee is always distinct from the karmis, although the karmis may dress like devotees. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Jechnarta Karmayo Yatra Lokoyam Karma Vandana. One who works for Lord Vishnu is free from this material world, and after giving up his body, he goes back home, back to Godhead. A karmi, however, although externally working like a devotee, is entangled in the non-devotional activity, and thus he suffers the tribulations of material existence. Thus, from the results achieved by the karmis and devotees, one can understand the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who acts differently for the karmis and jnanis than for the devotees. The author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita therefore says, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ataiva Santa Bhakti Mukti Siddhikami Sakala Ashanta. The karmis who desire sense gratification, the jnanis who aspire for liberation of merging into the existence of the Supreme, and the yogis who seek material success in mystic power are all restless, and ultimately they are baffled. But the devotee who does not expect any personal benefit, and whose only ambition is to spread the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is blessed with all the auspicious results of Bhakti Yoga without hard labor. Read the verse once again. Evam sura suragana samadeshakala et vakta karma matayo pifale vikalpam tatram ritam suragana falamahya sapur yat pada pankasharaja shrayanam nadetya. The place, the time, the cause, the purpose, the activity and ambition were all the same for the demigods and the demons. But the demigods achieved one result and the demons another, because the demigods are always under the shelter of the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. They could very easily drink the nectar and get its results. The demons, however, not having sought shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, were unable to achieve the result they desired. Om Ajnanatim Randasya Jnanasana Shakran Meritam Yena Tasmai Shigorave Namah Chichitayamanubhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svamukadamyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandyam Shivu Shiyuda Padakamanam Shigom Vaishnavam Shah Shirupam Jagajatam Saganarahnatam Pitam Tam Satjivan Satvaitam Savaduttam Parjana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sakanalita Shivshakam Vitamisha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jyatpate Kopesha Kopka Kanta Atakanta Namaste Tapta Kanchna Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhani Sutta Devi Pranamama Hari Priye Vankakalpata Vishake Pasmi Vishapatnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavin Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistana Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namam Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishes Srinyavadi Paskachari Dasatari. Hare Krishna, the verse says that the place, the time, the cause, the purpose, the activity and the ambition were all the same for the demigods and for the demons. But what was not the same? It's their consciousness. That is different. Therefore, the demigods, they were conscious. I do it to please Krishna. So, are we doing everything for Krishna at every moment? That is factually what it means to be a devotee. Doing everything for the pleasure of Krishna. Now we have heard in the 7th canto Prahlad Maharaj. What was Prahlad Maharaj's purpose? Only to try to make Krishna happy. So he was completely forgetting about oneself. It's very rare in this world. Someone who wants and is able to give up the mentality of I'm the center of the universe. Giving up all other motivations to please Krishna. But Prahlad Maharaj, he was forgetting completely about oneself. So when his father Hiranyakashipu decided to kill him, he ordered many demons to give trouble to Prahlad. And Prahlad was ready, yes. If the Lord wants to give me up my body, no problem. It was as long as I can please him. So that is pure devotional service. Give up all other motivations. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada quotes this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna Bhakti Nishkamata Eva Santa Bhakti Mukti Siddhikami Sakala Asanta. A devotee, because he is desireless in this material world, is peaceful. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita, he says that in so many places. I think it's in first time he speaks really about that is chapter 2, text 71. Vihaya kamanya sarvam pumancharati nishpriya nirmamo nirahankara sasantim adhigacchati. A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego, He alone can attain real peace. So, free from desires to exploit the world. A devotee has only one desire, to please Krishna. And he knows everything belongs to Krishna. Bhaktaram Charatapasam Sarvalokamashvaram. Sarvalokamashvaram, everything belongs to him, and he's the enjoyer. And he's a friend of everyone. And then, if one realizes that Krishna is my well-wisher, that Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Name Bhakta Pranashati, my devotee never perishes. That if we have faith in Krishna's word, that gives us strength to surrender and to go through all tribulations of life, accepting it as the mercy of Krishna. So, a devotee of the Lord has no other desire than to serve Krishna. We see in this world even so-called liberated persons are full of desires. They want to merge with the Absolute Truth, or they want to experience spiritual bliss. Of course, most people in this world has what Srila Prabhupada called a fruitive mentality. Fruitive, as Srila Prabhupada constructed that word, fruitive. One wants the fruits and enjoy it. There's a fruitive mentality. Yes. Also the impersonalists, they want to be one with the Supreme. It's also material desire. And yogis, they desire material perfections and magic. That it's all based on lust, calming lust, because they desire something else than to please Krishna. They cannot be peaceful. The Srila Prabhupada's peaceful formula is Bhaktaram Charatapasam Sarvam Lokamashvaram Suradam Sarvabhutnam Yatvanam Samti Richati. So if we just understand that throughout the entire universe, Krishna is the supreme enjoyer of all kinds of sacrifices, penances, and austerity, then we understand we should only perform devotional service, because Krishna is a proprietor of the material world, and he's our only friend. Only friend means Krishna does only good to all the living entities. Suradam Sarvabhutanam. If we understand really these principles, we become desireless. Nishkam and peaceful. A Krishna Bhakti knows that Krishna is my only protector in all circumstances. So Krishna says, Kauntya pratijani nami bhakta pranashati. My devotee never perishes. So Krishna gives assurance that the devotee lives in Krishna and has no desire for personal benefit. It's not easy. On this higher stage, Prahlad Maharaj, yes, he didn't care about his own life, he forgot himself, just to please Krishna. And they tried to kill him in so many ways. But the serpents who had to poison him did not touch him. The mad elephant who had to trample him bowed down for him. They threw him from a rock, and the stones became soft. They could not kill him. Nami bhaktya pranashati. But of course this is full surrender. Full surrender means only to please Krishna and forget everything else. And Krishna gives his assurance, the devotee who lives in Krishna and has no desire for profit. He will protect him in all circumstances. So we should aspire to develop this consciousness and center our life on the business of pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we have no desire for our own personal profit, we will be completely protected by the Supreme Lord. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that he is desireless because Krishna will give him protection in all circumstances. If you understand that, realize that. It is not that we become pure devotees, we are expecting some assistance from Krishna. We are expecting Krishna is going to reciprocate. But it's up to Krishna. So one simply depends on Krishna, as a child depends on his parents. The child does not know how to expect service from his parents, but is always protected nevertheless. So that's called this nishkam, this desireless. That's also the deeper meaning of surrender to Krishna. Come to that point. That such pure devotees, Srila Prabhupada in the purport said, what's their result? They are going back to God, to the spiritual world. And what's the result of the demons? They get birth after birth after birth, cycle of birth and death. That's what they get. So yes, only on the platform of bhakti, one becomes really desireless. The karmis, the jnanis, and the yogis, they have all their desires to fulfill for various activities. Therefore, deep in their heart, they cannot be satisfied. They are never satisfied. A karmi works very hard and gets millions of dollars. If he has $1 million, he wants another $1 million. There is no end of their desire. The more they get, the more they desire. Because they cannot be satisfied, because their intelligence is impure. Especially also the jnanis. They want to merge with the Supreme Lord. But they are never satisfied. Many of the, Srila Prabhupada mentioned many times, many of these so-called impersonalist sannyasis, later on they come back to give charity, to do activities in this world. All there, they wanted to give up all activities. that they come down to the material platform, engage in philanthropic activity. Thus they again cultivate desires, because their process is incomplete, and their incomplete knowledge and realization makes that they are never satisfied in their heart. I can only be satisfied if we realize who we are, a part of Krishna, and that we are meant to render this pure devotional service to Krishna, this serving just to please Krishna. And the yogis, they want mystic perfections to show off to others. So they misuse their mystic powers, and therefore they fall again to the material platform. So what's the conclusion? That only the devotees are satisfied because they are serving the Lord. They become actually desireless. Therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says Krishna Bhakta Nishkam. Since the Krishna Bhakti, the devotee of Krishna, is satisfied with Krishna, there is no possibility of fall down. We have seen in our movement in the beginning of the 80s, the so-called zonal acharyas, that is the history of ISKCON. They accepted worship on the level of Prabhupada, and they had all their own zones, they had all their own ideas, and everyone had to bow down to them. But what happened? Many of them had motivations. Some of them were five years in the movement and they became gurus. 5 years. They were the big gurus. But they were not pure in their desires. And they fell down in the most miserable way, some of them. So to become pure in heart, usually it takes a while. So therefore, it's also important in our mission for Srila Prabhupada that we are pure in that mission, to please Srila Prabhupada, nothing for ourselves. Because in the history of ISKCON, after the zonal acharyas, then many devotees lost faith in this movement and left. And the temples became empty, and they took shelter at the Indian community. Because they had the money, and they saved the temples. But this Indian community had their motivations. They didn't want just to give the money without getting control. And gradually, the purity of Srila Prabhupada's mission was endangered. So we need to be very careful in our movement, collectively and individually, this purity, acting only to make Krishna happy, forgetting about oneself. It's give up all other motivations. Mostly we come to this movement with expectations, with motivations. And if we are lucky, after a few years we detect, oh, that's the real thing. Anya bilasta sunyam jnana karmatan avtam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhakti uttama. And that's the point. How to practice this? It is in the Nectar of Devotion. Iya yasya aredasya karmana manasagari nikalasya pavastusya jiva mukta sauchate. Srila Prabhupada quotes this many times. Says, if one uses one's body, words, one's convictions, that everything in the service of the Lord, then one acts as a spirit soul, a liberated soul on the spiritual platform. Whatever we do that which is short of this will bring us in trouble and will give us other results. So this motivation is very important. We are not there to live a peaceful life as a devotee. No, we live to give pleasure to Krishna. And whatever Krishna brings us is for our good. From the moment we start to give up motivations, then Krishna reciprocates. If we just take shelter of him, Srila Prabhupada many times mentioned Draupadi, how she took shelter of the Supreme Lord. So that is for us to learn how to actually become desireless, just acting to please Krishna. Otherwise, there is always risk for all of us that we fall down again to the material platform. So acting only to please Krishna, tat buddhyas, tat atmas, tat nishtas, tat prayana, gacchanta panaravitam jnanayuta kalmasa. If one uses one's body, mind and words in one intelligence in the service of the Supreme Lord, then the heart becomes purified. If we act with that pure motivation, then the purification of the heart will go quick. Because this chapter is about Mohini Mukti. She's cheating the demons. She's cheating all those with other motivations of eye and mind. You may be in the dress of a devotee, but if you have other motivations than to please Krishna, then Mohini Mukti is cheating you. You come under the three modes of material nature. Under the law of karma, under the cycle of birth and death, all karmis are cheated. Their desires may be fulfilled in this life, but then they die. It's all for nothing. They are cheated. So that's cheating. Yes, Krishna is the greatest cheater. Yes. There in the Bhagavad Gita, this verse, we quoted it. Nami bhaktya panashyati. My devotee will never perish. In the Gita, Srila Vishwanatha Bhakti Thakur, it was Baladev Vidya Bhushan, he put some lines between, some verses between the verses, and then when Krishna says Name Bhaktya Panashyati, Arjuna is saying to Krishna, "Oh Krishna, you asked me to make it known to everyone that my devotee will never perish. Why are you not doing that yourself, Krishna? And Krishna says, yes, but I'm from Mathura. And those from Mathura, they are known as cheaters. But they will never cheat those whom they love. It's interesting. So if we love Krishna and act only for his pleasure, Krishna will not cheat us. We will get purified and see things as they are. Otherwise, we are cheated by the material energy, cheated by so many desires, again and again and again by these desires. And it's horrible. So learning to act as a spirit soul means learning to make Krishna happy, do everything out of love for Krishna, and forgetting about oneself. And then one gets different results than the demons. You cannot see it from the outside. They are doing the same activity, and the demigods wanted the nectar, and the demons wanted the nectar. But why did the demigods want the nectar? To make Krishna happy. That's different. From the outside you cannot see. But the consciousness is different. And because of the difference of consciousness, they get different results at the end. So the objectives of the demigods, they were achieved, and the demons were cheated. So that's the point. Bhakti Maharaj said many times, Krishna consciousness is the best investment. Because if you do it properly, you get the desired result of going back to God. So, thank you. Are there any questions? Question? Yeah.
Thank you very much for the nice class, Maharaj. I have a question concerning purity of intention to please Krishna. As a Grihastra, there is the matter of economic development, the necessity, and as a Grihastra, there's some implication of material desire inherent as well. So how can one be sure if their method of economic development and their desires to please Krishna can be reconciled in a way that is satisfactory and pleasing to Krishna?
Thank you for the question. Yes, we must maintain this body in this world, but we maintain it just so that we can serve nicely and that we can make Krishna happy to our service. We work, yes, we work to maintain our family of devotees so that they can peacefully progress in Krishna consciousness. And we work to maintain the temple. Our house has become a temple because we are worshipping the Supreme Lord and the deity of the Lord in our house. But we never consider our house, but it's Krishna's house. So it's just this consciousness has to pervade all our existence. You call it reconciliation, I would call it, well, Prabhupada called it dovetailing. That connect your activities with Krishna one way or another. You do your activity for Krishna. So that means learning to think of Krishna, that praying to help to go to the challenges at your work and so on. Pray to the Lord to help to tolerate everything in this world. A lot of things to tolerate. Things will never go as you expect, and you suffer because of these expectations. So we must become desireless. Desireless does not mean that one has no motivation. No, the motivation should be there, the spiritual desire to please Krishna. But it's a higher goal and a higher motivation. So it's a gradual process that how many times during the day do we think, I'm doing this to make Krishna happy? But how many times during the day this thought comes up? We should live in this thought and cultivate it. That, yes. But we are cheated by the material energy. We forget. Therefore we have to hear. This Bhagavatam class is and this morning program is important. That we sufficiently hear about Krishna, engage in direct devotional activities as much as possible. And then, yes, Krishna will reciprocate to us. That He will give us a spiritual strength. That, but it depends all on why we are doing things. What is our motivation? That, so Krishna consciousness, in other words, means changing our desire. We cannot be without desire, but we can be without material desires, and only cultivate spiritual desires. And this spiritual desire means I'm trying to make Krishna happy. That you become so absorbed in it. And that will make you purified. And as one becomes purified, one will see the presence of Krishna in everything. In everything in this world. But it depends on the purity of our desire. Desire means pure, purity means pure desire. And having that pure desire, Srila Prabhupada calls sincerity. One is sincere in spiritual life. If one wants to come to that platform of every moment thinking, I'm doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. So does that help?
That helps very much, Maharaj. Is it safe to say that if we're not spending the Lakshmi or intending to spend the Lakshmi on sense gratification and for the maintenance of the family to continue the service, then that would be considered sincere?
Well, the point is, we need sense gratification, but we are always conscious, I'm doing it to make Krishna happy. Krishna is the first enjoyer. So We offer our food to Krishna, prepared with love and devotion. And after when it's offered, we enjoy. But that enjoyment, we must also regulate in the beginning. The enjoyment must be a meditation on Krishna, how we tasted the prasad. Always connect with Krishna. Also the taking of prasad. Therefore we call it honoring prasad. But it's also enjoyable. The most enjoyable thing is in this world is that we always think of Krishna. And then our life becomes ecstatic. But because we are not able to always think of Krishna, Krishna says, I think 12:9 Bhagavad Gita, if you cannot always think of me, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. So all these regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, Vaidhi, Sadhana, Bhakti, 16 items of regulated devotional service presented by Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Devotion, which were based on a book written by Sanatan Goswami, which he wrote on Vaishnava Achar, how a devotee or a spiritual person should live. So we have to learn these rules. And by following these rules, surely we become purified. These rules and this lifestyle described there is the lifestyle of those in the spiritual world. But in the spiritual world, they do all these things for Krishna spontaneously. The gopis do not need to chant their rounds to think of Krishna. They think always of Krishna. It's spontaneous. But for us, it's not spontaneous. We must follow all these rules and regulations, but while following these rules and regulations, we should do our best to always have that motivation. I'm there to make Krishna happy and forget myself. So absorbed in Krishna. And that is oneness in spiritual life. That is absorption in Krishna. And those who were on that platform were the gopis. The gopis, although they wanted to forget Krishna, they could not. No way. They never forgot Krishna. But in the material world, it's difficult. It's difficult to remember Krishna. And this regulated devotional service helps us, reminds us on how to do that. If we chant Hare Krishna, Japa, there's a good chance sometimes we think of Krishna. Suddenly, as our attention grows, we will become more and more absorbed and feel Krishna in the holy name. And what happens then? It's explained in the eighth text of Nectar of Instruction that after start with Shravana Dasa, then Varana Dasa, 2 stages, hearing the holy name that you chant and accept it as Krishna, and then Smarana Vasta, 5 stages, Krishna's 5 stages of remembering Krishna, Srila Prabhupada writes. First stage, sometimes we forget Krishna, sometimes we think of Krishna and do things for his pleasure, but sometimes not. Then the times that we are trying to make Krishna happy become longer, and the times we forget Krishna become shorter. That's a result of this Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. And then at a certain moment, it becomes continuously. Always remember Krishna. Continuously. And that is Nishta, the platform of liberation. After many years this happens. And then after that, Krishna starts to reveal himself to us. You see his beautiful form, his sweet smile, his beautiful character. And you see that Krishna is not alone with the spiritual world. The holy Dham, his associates. And then you enter Ashakti, spiritual television, Srila Prabhupada says. And then one will develop Bhava, which is a preliminary form of love of God that's before Prema. So this is the process. And if we follow that process nicely, but always that objective should be there. I'm trying to make Krishna happy, nothing for myself. Then Krishna will reciprocate with us, as indicated in this verse. Does that help?
Maharaj, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Anything else? Good, thank you. Yes.
Yes, Guru, I just have a small question because Guru, Prabhupada in his purport, he says that the demigod, they're Nishkam. But sometimes in verses of the Bhagavatam and in other places, Prabhupada, he talks of the demigods as being Sakam. So that they do have a little bit the same desires as the demons, but at least they understand Krishna's position. And so can you say a little bit something about this?
No, not all the demigods are Sakam. Lord Brahma is also a demigod, is Nishkam. Narada Muni is Nishkam. So Srila Vyasadeva is Nishkam. So in that way, but those who are on the Nishkam platform, they get as a result going back to Godhead, back to the spiritual world. Those who are Sakam, their material desires are fulfilled. They get also what they want. And that's the point in this verse. But if we look at from the angle of Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he says demigods are Nishkam. These are the real demigods. Devotees who are Nishkam are demigods. That's interesting. Yes. But even if they are Sakam, they are still do things to make Krishna happy. And they want something for themselves also. What is the result? Their material desires are fulfilled, but they get not rid of cycle of birth and death. That you only get when you are Nishkam. Therefore, this striving for this purity in our movement, collectively and individually, is so important. Otherwise, we get different results. Hare Krishna. Is something else? Yes?
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
I was wondering if you could comment, because Prabhupada quoted in a verse and he said, what success or failure in every activity is determined by the result. And we may think we're trained differently, that if our activity is in line with Guru, scripture, then it is successful. but here it says according to the result, and we can judge.
Yeah, right. I remember this is 20 years ago. I think it was in Finland. They went every day on Sankirtan distributing books, and the collection they put in the evening in the safe. And they did that for 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, someone broke into the safe and stole all the money. So what was the result of their activities? The real result is not that money. Their heart became purified. That was the result. That's the real result of their Sankirtan. And of course, they will be more careful in the future also. But with the results, yeah, you cannot see, a materialist cannot see that this person is going back to Godhead. They don't have the eyes to see that, but the devotee understands that the purity. So, what are the real results? The results is getting free from cycle of birth and death. The result is one becomes peaceful and happy. That, yeah. And external result may look different. The so-called material result, that's not so important at the end. Hare Krishna. Does that help?
Yes, Maharaj, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I was very happy to be with you today, and I look forward to meet you again, cyberspace, or maybe sometime in Montreal. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.